Welcome to the Behavioral Health Brief, presented by Turn Behavioral Health Services. Behavioral health is about people who deserve compassion, dignity, and the opportunity to heal. At Turn, that belief drives our mission of improving lives. This podcast brings together behavioral health expertise and real stories of transformation to elevate the field and inspire meaningful change. Today's episode is about transformation and what it really looks like to change your life. My guest today is Jennifer Robbins, a substance use disorder counselor at our North County Center for Change, and someone who's walked the same path she now helps others navigate. Her journey from addiction and repeated arrests to a turning point that began in the back of a sheriff's car to graduating drug court and now helping others walk the same path is a powerful example of what recovery can look like. She's also a published author sharing her story, From the Streets to the Seats, Volume 2, written in a way that lets you experience her transformation in real time. Today, she's helping others build a path forward. Jennifer, thank you for being here today. And I'd love to start with where you are today. Can you tell us about your role at the North County Center for Change?
Yes, thank you. As a substance use disorder counselor, I get to work with clients on a personal level, on a one-on-one. So I get to meet with them for one-on-one sessions for individual counseling, and I also do care coordination, which is like case management. Hooking them up with or connecting them with resources in the community, helping them meet needs like for housing, food resources, things of that nature, and then also group counseling. So the groups are my favorite.
Yeah, great.
Right
I remember you saying earlier you're going to have a group today, this afternoon. So for someone who may not be familiar with North County Center for Change, how would you describe the work in a little bit more detail that everybody does at the North County Center for Change?
Yeah. So at North County Center for Change Drug Court, everybody there is justice impacted. So you have to be court referred. And it's a collaboration of the drug court team and the probation department and the courts, everybody working in collaboration together, which is very unique. It's the only program out there that has that support all the way around. So our clients are not looked upon by the courts as a number anymore. They're not just a case. They're a person. And so when they go to court, which they do every week, in the beginning for the first phase, the judge is addressing them by name, asking them how many clean days they have, which is very unique as well, noticing that each day sober that they have is a success, which is something that in a regular courtroom, a judge would never notice or recognize or acknowledge before.
I know when we go to the graduations and the judge is there, the district attorney's there, the public defender's there, the whole team is there supporting all of them. It's really, really interesting because you could see the uniqueness of everybody working together for the individuals that are in the North County Center for Change. What keeps you coming back to this work that you do every day?
Oh, I love the idea of hope, bringing hope and watching people absolutely transform their lives, and people are resilient in recovery. Watching somebody completely change from going from basically death to life, which is something that I did myself, and so just being a part of that is a blessing.
You describe behavioral health in your own experience as resilience and the ability to change. Where does that perspective come from?
It comes from actually my faith with my own personal God in my life, and that was something that drug courts, North County Center for Change drug court, helped me reconnect with my God in a and just a more personal level than I was before, because they require you to participate in a 12-step program, and part of a 12-step program, you have to connect with a God of some sort, a higher power, what have you. And for me, that is a God, and so that's what I find.
Yeah. So what has it been like these first few months that you're now working at the North County Center for Change, and that experience for you after going full circle with the North County Center for Change in your role?
Oh, it's been amazing, being able to I kind of like see myself, go from like go from a client to being an alumni. I was like alumni president for 6.5 years, and being able to participate that way, and then coming back as a counselor. I'm able to use my own experiences and stuff and connect with clients in that way, and so I think that I'm able to. I don't know, I don't know. It's kind of hard to explain.
You've touched on your personal connection to the work at North County Center for Change for you, but can you take us back to really where it all started for you?
Okay. Okay. So for me, I started as a client in drug court, and my last arrest really was a huge change for me in my life. Like I mentioned, going from like death to life, and that's really what it was. It was a death to an entirely different way of life, and then drug court for me was a lifeline. It's a drug court is a very intense outpatient program. It's a whole person treatment. So you have to complete. You have to get a full-time job within the first 30 days.
Wow,
You
first
have
30
to-
days you have to be employed.
Absolutely,
Interesting.
full-time too.
Full time.
You have to have 12-step program. You have to complete those 12 steps. You have to have a sponsor within the first 30 days. Your sponsor has to call in, to your counselor and, report that you're doing your steps. You have to go to group every single day. That's like 9 groups a week that you're attending. It's a lot. It's a lot. You're going to court once a week, and so it's a lot. And what it is boundaries and structure, and things that it wasn't experiencing out on the streets.
Who was your support person through that process for you, besides just the Center for Change and the employees that were there that were working with you? Was there another person outside that you were working with?
Yes, absolutely. I had my sponsor.
Okay.
My sponsor, and at that time, her name was Karen P, and she was instrumental. There was no room for messing around. When I would kind of cross my arms over my chest, and that kind of that's not fair. She would just say things like, uncross your arms, unpurse your lips, that you're embarrassing me. It's none of your business what other people are thinking. It's none of your business what other people are saying. That kind of stuff. When I worked my steps and had to make amends, she said, "Do you owe the library any money?" And I was like, "Whoa, like, do I owe the library any money?" She said, "Yes." And I thought, like, well, maybe from 10 or 15 years ago. She said, "Okay, well, then you need to make amends to them." And she was not going to call in my steps to my counselor until my counselor that I completed that step until I did. So there was no messing around with her. And I am so grateful.
Is she still in your
So
life
grateful.
today?
She is not today, but as you can see,
Yeah.
I still contribute
Yeah.
a lot of my success, to her. And also, my counselor, obviously, with drug court, and the program manager, Judy Johnson.
Yeah, Judy Johnson. I
Yeah.
remember Judy well.
Yeah, Judy just retired last year, June of 2024.
Yeah.
She just retired, but she is still in my life today. And,
That's
and
great.
So
that
I'm grateful to her.
connection of all of you guys that have gone through recovery is simply amazing. We had the retirement party for Judy. And that was amazing because there were so many people that had been involved in the drug court and in Judy's life. And you probably knew most of them that were there at that function. So that's terrific.
Absolutely. Yeah, her office was full of flowers. I remember walking in there. So yeah, she was amazing.
So when you think about that version of yourself now, what stands out to you?
Oh, wow. Gosh, I was so lost. I was just so broken and so lost and so alone. And, I used drugs to numb. It wasn't like I was using drugs so that I felt better about anything. I'd used it to numb so that I would just completely not feel anything at all. And so I was just completely numb to feeling anything good, feeling anything bad, feeling anything at all, So I was just lost. And so drug court gave me life again.
Yeah.
But when you get sober, a red carpet is not laid in front of you that says, "Here, Jennifer, life is going to be amazing for you now that you're sober." In fact, it's just the opposite. I feel life gets difficult because now I have to feel.
Yeah.
I have to feel it all. I have to go through it. I have to experience it, and it's tough and it's rough. And a lot of things that I've gone through in recovery have been hard, but I've realized that I can do hard things.
Yes.
And I can make it. And everything that I go through with the support, obviously, of my higher power, whom I call God, has made me stronger and more resilient. And now I'm able to help somebody else, which is part of my 12th step.
Right. But, I'd like to hear from you about the shift that occurred in your life, because you talk about it in your book here. And there was truly a moment that you really shifted and knew you had to take another path than the current path that we were on. There were the outside factors there, the sheriff's car and the handcuffs, as you've described in your book, and the cold cell and sleeping on the bench. But there must have been something that just shifted you to know that you had to get into the North County Center for Change. I think that's very important that you share some of that today, too.
Yeah, thank you for acknowledging that. Well, for me, it was because I had been numb. I had been numbing myself for so long. I wasn't really hearing the voice of my God anymore. And once I was able to listen again, like hear him, it's not audible. It's not like an audible voice, but it's just kind of like, I'm still hearing his voice. Like once I was able to do that, then I was like, okay, you need help. You need to get this help. And I wasn't trying to get out of the situation that I was in anymore. I wasn't trying to focus on how am I gonna, bail out of jail? How am I gonna, just get out of this arrest and everything this time? It was kind of like surrendering, and I hadn't had drug court before. I had been arrested so many times before, but I had never asked for drug court. And something told me drug court, and everybody knows, everybody had, in jail said,
everybody knows.
Yeah,
Can you share that experience?
In jail, everybody says that drug court's a setup for failure.
Yeah.
That's a setup for failure because drug court is 18 months minimum program, and it's very hard. It's very hard to complete. There's a lot of requirements, and the consequences of not completing it are like jail, a weekend in jail, things like that, because it's very structured,
right,
and stuff. But I was willing. I was just willing, and I think willingness and then surrendering. So those are huge things for me. And once I was in drug court and I started to work my steps, which you don't see that hindsight is 2020. Hindsight is always 2020. So when I look back and I see, oh, now I realize why they wanted me to get a job within that amount of time. They wanted me to get a sponsor. They wanted me to work my steps. Even the way that the steps are, they're in the order that they are for a reason. And, once I had got like my third step and I got on my knees and surrendered to my God and done thing, if I wouldn't have done that, then, another thing that happened in the program, it was like, oh, wow. Like I got a random phone call from the person that had adopted my children.
I remembered you sharing that.
Yeah, and she just called me to tell me that she had changed my children's first names.
Yeah.
Just call me and tell me that, just to be evil, really, But I would have kind of freaked out, but I had just done my third step, which is surrendering, turning your life over to care of a God who you understand. And if I wouldn't have done that, I would have handled that in a different way.
Yeah.
And so drug court gave me power to just kind of and strength, just a strength that I did not have in myself. I just didn't have in myself at all.
I remember in reading in your book that describing how many times you asked for drug court, right? And were denied 3 times, but you had the strength and the willingness and the effort to go on and keep asking. Describe that feeling for us, because you can read it in the book, but to hear it from you would be really great.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah. So I asked for drug court 3 different times, like you say, and I just kept getting denied. And they kept saying, you don't qualify. In fact, I was literally laughed at, you don't qualify for drug court, just like that, And I was like, yeah, but I already have this kind of worked out with my God, and we've already made this deal, and that's what I'm asking for, and that's what I'm going to go for. And I was looking at 14 years.
Wow.
Because of my priors. And so it was a lot. It was a lot hanging over my head, and so I really wanted the opportunity to have drug court, and so finally when I got the third time, after being denied, if I didn't get it, then I would have been in a lot of trouble. So I finally did sign a deal, and it was dropped down to 7 years, 4 months. So, or 7.5 years. Yeah. And finally signed at that. So if I didn't complete drug court, that's the time I would have done.
Did they ever tell you why you were denied the first 3 times?
My priors.
Oh,
my priors.
Okay.
Yeah. So just all the sales that I had, possession with sales and stuff I had on my record. Yeah.
Because I can remember you describing that in the book, and you couldn't understand other than, the priors. And then miraculously, one day they came in, and the individual that was notifying you was like, I can't believe it. You're in drug court. Mm-hmm. And it was like happy day for you, right? To be able to actually be in drug court. So that was a big momentum shift.
Absolutely.
I could see that or feel it when I read it in your book. So it's terrific.
Yeah. And, and then they told me the drug, because it's an entire drug court team that has to welcome you and accept you into the program. So it's not just like a district attorney or a public defender. It's the DA. It's the public defender. It's the program manager from drug court. So that included Judy Johnson at the time.
Right.
It's everybody that has to accept you. Probation is a part of that.
Oh, really? It's even everybody. Probation.
They all have to agree. And then they told me, they said, we'll accept you, and you're on a real short leash. Oh. That's what they said. But I was just determined. I was just determined to complete it. And I just made that deal with God. I was like, okay, I'm going to do whatever they want me to do for this 18 months. And then hopefully I'll want it on my own. Hopefully I'll have a desire to want it on my own. And I did.
Yeah.
I did. I was just kind of like, everything in my life, I've always just kind of done, full steam ahead, and whether it was positive or negative, I was kind of like in all the way. And that's what I did with drug court.
That's just tremendous, that what you went through and stuck through it and had the resilience, as you described it in your book, to really stay with the program and want to complete that program. Can you describe like what it was like for you when you were in the program, and then seeing that you were making those, leaps, if you want to call it, in your life, and seeing that recovery and seeing the end of the light at the end of the tunnel?
Yes. So the requirements that they wanted, like, for instance, like the full-time job and stuff. And so without drug court, pushing me to do that, when I got the job that I did. And then, getting, for instance, like getting keys to the office in that full-time job. And then having that realization that, like, oh, wow, they trust me. They trust me. And that without drug court, like that wouldn't have happened. Right. And then, I was in sober living, for about a month and a half. And then, I got, my own place.
Yeah.
I'm renting, obviously. It was with my husband at the time. And then another friend, we rented that place, and I'm still there today. So I've been there 9 years, and that was huge. It was like, okay, now I have keys to my own place. Without drug court, that wouldn't have happened. I got a car. When I got a car, and it was this 96 Nissan Sentra that was so loud, but I was so proud, but again, it was keys to a car.
Yeah.
Drug court, that wouldn't have happened.
Just those
because
little
they push
things.
you.
Yeah.
They push you to do these things, and it's encouragement, and it's like, wow, what it was happening was that death to life, that means I was slowly getting my life back.
Right. And taking responsibility.
Right.
For yourself. And those things were just little stepping stones that were through your recovery.
Absolutely. And in recovery, you hear things like in the rooms of recovery, you hear like, oh yeah, you get everything back. You lose everything when you're, out there in your addiction, but you get everything back in recovery. And I'm here to say that it is possible that to get things back. And a lot of people do get everything back. But you don't always get everything back. I didn't lose my children because of addiction. I had lost my children because we could not provide stable housing at the time. And so I don't have my children back, but that doesn't mean that I don't pray to get them back,
Yes.
One day, you know what I mean? And I know that God will do what he's going to do, in life. But I do have I do have amends that I've made to them, and that I've prepared for each one of my children, but recovery has helped me do that, right?
Yeah.
So those are kind of gifts that I've gotten.
So let's
drug court as
shift
well.
a minute. And let's talk about the book. Let's talk about From the Streets to the Seats, Volume 2, and you're writing in here and being published. And in your story, you were writing in real time. Describe that for us as things were unfolding in your life, and describe, the process of getting to be able to be published in the book. And this book is about everybody who's been in recovery, but inside the justice system too, that have the same experiences. So I'd love to hear about that today.
Thank you for highlighting that. So I was a student at Miracosta College in Oceanside, and I'm also a Transition Scholars student. And Transition Scholars is a club for anybody who is justice impacted. So whether you have been in juvenile hall, jail, prison, if you've done a little bit of time, a lot of time, recent time, a long time ago, doesn't matter. As long as you've been justice impacted, you qualify for Transition Scholars. And so my English class, there was a cohort with Transition Scholars. So every student in that class was also in Transition Scholars, which meant we all could relate to each other, which was amazing, right? So I think that helped people open up freely. So, because sometimes when you want to share your story, you start thinking like, oh, maybe this person will judge me, maybe that person won't be able to relate to what I'm saying. But because we were all kind of cut from the same cloth per se, and we were able to open up like that. So my English professor, Professor Tyrone Nagai, amazing. He's still my mentor today. Helped me to be able to write the way that you described, like in real time. So it's not just about telling my story. It's about using like descriptive words, such as like describing the smell of someone's bubble gum, describing the sound of, the handcuffs, scraping against the seat, things like that. So it's being able to, kind of like put the reader into what's happening. And so I'm grateful for that.
It was interesting. I remember the part in the book where you were laying down on the bench. It was cold. I think you were in the jail cell. You were in the lower bunk, and you really described the feeling of lying on that bench. I could visualize it as you were lying in there. So much empathy for you and that part.
Thank you.
When people walk away or finish reading your story, what do you hope that they take with them? Oh,
wow. Yeah, that's kind of like the whole point of it, that that they can make it, that there's that hope that if I can get through this, so can they. Like the connection, I want them to be able to say, like, wow, she went through this, and I can go through this too. It my story is deep in a lot of ways, and you might not be able to connect to my story in every way, but hopefully that there's bits and pieces that you can connect with it as a reader. We just found out recently at the book launch, which was about a month ago, that our book, that the County of San Diego has agreed to. They have a contract. They've agreed to put our book into the jails.
Nice.
And so people
can read the real stories.
Yes, and that's kind of like. That's huge. That's kind of like our point.
It's interesting when I hear you talk about that. Do you ever get to go into the jails to talk to clients and say, look, I'm one who used to be here and you can make it, and I can dispel the myth that, oh, you're never going to make it through drug court or anything like that? Have you had that experience yet?
Not yet. But as an author connected with this book, that's what we're going to be able to do. As soon as the books go in, we're going to be able to do just author panels. Panels, just like we did, at the book launch. So we'll be able to go in and sit and then tell little snippets of our story, and then be able to answer questions.
That's going to be interesting when the books. When do you know when the date is when they're going to start being issued to the jails?
I don't know the exact date yet, but I'll definitely keep you posted on that.
Taking your story and putting it in a book, huge amount of courage. Could you describe that at all, of when you were actually writing it and putting it on paper, kind of the feelings around that? That just took a lot of courage to share your life, to put it into the book, and could you share that?
Yeah, it's an emotional experience because it's reliving. It's reliving what happens, especially doing it in the real time. But it's a healing process because it's actually going through like the whole story of like my last arrest. It's going from how I got into drug court and how drug court actually I believe drug court helped save my life. And that's why I keep using that term, death to life, because that's what I believe drug court did for me. My last arrest literally brought me from the streets where I was nothing, like literally I was nothing at that point. And I was able to, it's kind of like my best friend says like a phoenix going, like rising from the ashes.
Yeah.
That's what it's kind of like.
Interesting. Well, Jennifer, you shared such a powerful turning point in your story this morning. I want to come back to what happened next. But before we go further, let's take a brief pause for the brief that we're going to highlight programs, policies, and emerging trends in our community. So thank you.
Thank you.
Today, I want to highlight one of TURN's programs that really brings whole person care to life, the North County Center for Change. It's one of 3 drug court programs at TURN, along with East and South County Centers for Change, all working toward the same goal, supporting people on a path to recovery and stability. This is an intensive outpatient program here in San Diego, funded by the County of San Diego, and it's been serving the community since 1997, nearly 3 decades. That kind of longevity says a lot. The need is real, and so is the impact. The program supports individuals navigating both mental health challenges and involvement with the justice system, offering a path forward when those systems on their own aren't enough. What really stands out is how everything works together. This isn't just clinical treatment. Participants also receive case management, life skills support, and the chance to better understand the patterns that brought them there. The focus is on building stability, strengthening emotional regulation, and improving decision-making while helping people reconnect with their communities in ways that last. This approach reflects where the field is heading toward more integrated models that bring behavioral health and justice system involvement together. When that alignment happens, you start to see real outcomes: less recidivism, more stability, and better access for people who are often underserved. And none of this works without a team at the North County Center for Change, led by the program manager, Ricardo Nunez. The staff bring a balance and structure and compassion, holding people accountable while creating an environment where change feels possible. To me, this program reflects what Turn is working toward: care that's connected, accessible, and centered on the individual. Because real change doesn't happen in silos. It happens when you treat the whole person. So Jennifer, I'd love to get your perspective on how important are programs like this.
Well, Jim, they're instrumental in helping people that once are looked at as criminals into feeling like human again, just being able to get back into the community and be able to get, jobs and housing and, without programs like this, they, just don't have a chance anymore, and just the hope, just bringing hope.
I think that's also so interesting when we go to the graduations and we hear how they've reconnected with their families, their mothers, their fathers, their sisters, their brothers, and they're welcome back in. So thank you for really sharing that. And if you'd like to learn more about Turn, you can go to our website at turnbhs.org. Thank you again, Jennifer, for sharing that.
Thank you, Jim.
Improving lives every day and in every way for Californians. This is the mission of Turn Behavioral Health Services. By focusing on wellness, recovery, and resilience, Turn is helping create lasting change, especially for our military community. If you're active duty, a veteran, reservist, regardless of military status, or part of a military family in San Diego, support is here. Courage to Call is a free, confidential helpline staffed by veterans who understand military life. From 8 a.m. to 8 p.m., you can connect with peer-to-peer specialists who are ready to listen, guide, and help on the very first call. Struggling with mental health, food insecurity, finances, housing? You don't have to face it alone. Call 877-698-7838. That's 877-698-7838. Courage to Call will answer your call. Courage to Call is a program of Turn Behavioral Health Services, improving lives every day in every way.
Welcome back to the Behavioral Health Brief. I'm Jim Callahan, and we're continuing our conversation with Jennifer Robbins, a substance use counselor at the North County Center for Change. Let's pick back up with what came next for you. At what point did becoming a counselor really start to feel like a possibility for you?
Thank you, Jim. Yeah, when I was in drug court, my boss, when I was working at Roof King, she used to tell me, you should be a counselor. You should do this. And so, it was kind of like a fleeting thought for me at that time. I was like, yeah, that would be kind of cool. I think I would really like to do that, but I wasn't really diving into it as like a real possibility. So it wasn't until a few years later that I started really honestly thinking about it. But I started going to school for it a couple of years ago, and then just started taking just one class at a time. But I am also simultaneously in school to become a social worker.
Oh, nice!
So I am
Congratulations,
licensed. Thank you for licensed clinical social worker. So I am still a student for that also.
Well, that's terrific.
Yeah, thank you.
Before stepping into that role, you spent years staying connected as a alumni leader. Describe that for us, for our audience today.
Yeah, so as alumni president, that role just included staying connected with the program. So about every 4 months there was a graduation, and so I would just kind of get on the stage and speak at every graduation and present a picture to the judge of the graduating class, and then just kind of give a speech, just encouraging the graduating class to stay connected as part of alumni, and then also participating in events. So, a beach bash event, which in fact our program right now is about to have a beach bash this Thursday. Beach bash just includes barbecuing and games and just fun, fellowship. We would do Padre games, baby showers for clients, whatever, just different fellowship.
And that was all through the alumni organization?
Whatever was going on at drug court, whatever events were going on at drug court, alumni can participate in.
Okay.
So alumni is basically just still staying connected to the program that helped save my life. Just paying respect.
So after you graduated the program, then you stayed on as the alumni president for 6 years. That's because I know at our South County and East County Centers for Change, they rotate. They may not stay for 6 years. So that's really a commitment on your part.
Yeah. Well, we had COVID that kind of, happened during, so there was some, I think that kind of, made a difference.
How was it working at drug court or being part of drug court through COVID? How did that transition happen?
Yeah, so like the graduations happen at the program rather than at the AVO, and so we were kind of there with the microphone, wearing a mask, and just kind of like going up one by one and having graduations like that. So they did not put them on hold or on pause or anything. They still happened. It just happened in a different way. And then after COVID, Judy, the program manager at the time, had promised those clients as soon as they were able to get into the AVO, she said, we will let you come and walk in that ceremony. And she did. Yeah,
great. So I know it's probably regressing back to COVID, but were you allowed to do groups and actively participate in groups or no groups?
I wasn't in the program at the time or a counselor in the program at the time. I was just doing alumni, so I was just participating in events and what have you. So I'm not really sure exactly how they were doing groups other than doing like telehealth.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So they were. Yeah.
Interesting. I understand that you're currently working with someone who's close to graduating. What's it been like to walk alongside someone at that point in their journey?
Yeah, so I think I'm probably just as excited almost as he is, because I get butterflies in my stomach, and it's just like a recharge to my own recovery every graduation. It's such a beautiful experience, So I'm really excited for him, and just want to support him in everything that he needs. And at this point, he doesn't have very many needs because he's just met all requirements and everything of the program. So right now, it's just kind of like just being there for support.
And so he's made it all the way through what you described earlier today, AA and the steps, and is with his sponsor and has got a job and. Reconnecting into the community, and he's ready to graduate there.
Right, and so he's just doing recovery services and just meeting with me one-on-one, and just gliding on through.
I think that's going to be a really meaningful day. I want to be there when that graduation happens to see that, because that's full circle. Can you describe that full circle feeling?
Oh my gosh.
From the sheriff's car that you describe in the book, in the back of the sheriff's car, and everything that you've been through, and then to that day to be on stage at his graduation. And you're going to be highlighting him. That's going to be amazing.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, it's gonna be incredible to go from being on the stage as a client graduating to being on the stage as alumni president speaking, and then to be able to be on the stage as a counselor for the program that helped save my life. It's like it'll be surreal.
I can't imagine what that feeling would be like, but we're going to be there for you that day and support you and support the program.
Thank you.
When you look at your journey now, coming full circle, what does this work mean to you every day?
Oh my gosh, it means everything. So when I get up in the morning, I'm like, I get to go to work. I'm excited. It's the job that I've always wanted. I know that the people that I work with, not just the clients, but my coworkers, it's like we're a team. I appreciate the people that I work with. We just have a good respect for each other. And because we all love our clients, it's a healthy, obviously kind of a love, because to work in this field, as you know, behavioral health, you have to have a certain kind of love for people, so coming to work every day is a blessing. It's not just like, oh, I have to go to work. I get to go to work.
Yeah.
So I'm so grateful.
I know when you're at the graduations, you can see it through everybody, from the judge, like I said earlier, public defender and district attorney, deputy district attorney, and everybody is just so behind
Yes, and Terry Peters, who is the public defender, she is amazing. She's incredible. I mean, she works all hours of the night. I mean, 11, 12 o'clock at night, she is still going, and she's just incredible. She just has a heart for everybody as well. And even the district attorney Fusco, he was instrumental in my own recovery. I ended up having a nickname for him as Superman because he saved me at one point because I had this feeling of wanting to give up at one point, and he came out and pulled me into the hallway in the courtroom and was just like, hey, I believe you, and I kind of wanted to stand behind me, and that just his belief in me, his trust, his standing behind me, which as a district attorney never ever would stand behind a client, you know what I mean, or behind a criminal, right? And his words of telling me that, his support, and I knew he meant it. So I'm Deputy District Attorney Joseph Fusco was
he's
my
a great
Superman.
guy.
He's incredible. Great guy. The entire team, we have an amazing team all the way across the board. So I'm so grateful, and you're incredible. Also, we could not ask for a better team.
Yeah,
really,
it's great, great up there. At this point, we're going to bring our audience in with community conversations. So pick your first question.
My first question is from Ryan, and Ryan wants to know, what is one thing you wish more people understood about recovery? Recovery is a choice to have a better life. It's not a punishment. This is something that recovery is something that you're doing to continue making better choices. Yeah.
Nice. Well, let's try question number 2 then.
Thank you. Okay, question number 2 is from Tatiana. From your perspective as a counselor, what makes the biggest difference in someone staying on track? Meeting somebody where they're at is so important. So not everybody is at the same level. It's not just like one thing, like across the board,
right. Meeting them where they're at. I've heard that a lot.
Yeah, exactly.
Meeting the person at their level, where they're at.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think it's really important, and just like supporting them,
Okay, great. Then final question number 3 for you today.
Caitlin asked, what would you say to someone who's just entering a program and doesn't yet believe change is possible for them? I would say just hang on. The miracle hasn't happened yet, but it will. Just trust the process. Some of those terms are kind of cliche, but they really have meaning in them. That just one step at a time.
I've heard at almost every graduation, whether it's North, South, or East County Center for Change, the alumni always say, trust the process. Mm-hmm. You'll get there. Trust. Go day by day, step by step, and you'll make it through the program.
Yeah, absolutely.
When you think about your journey from the moment back of the sheriff's car to where you are today, what does a second chance mean to you?
Wow. Thank you again for having me. I really appreciate it.
You're welcome.
But a second chance means it's just a new life. It just means everything. It gives me the opportunity to turn around and help somebody else. And so I'm just grateful to be able to do that. And I hope that I can do that to the best of my ability.
Jennifer, I want you to look at me like I'm a young woman in the backseat of the sheriff's car. And what would you say to her today?
I would tell her, you are loved. You are worthy. You can change. You can help others. You are not forgotten. You can do this.
Oh, that's terrific. Thank you for sharing that. I imagine that was super emotional for you. I can see it. But thank you for sharing that.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Thank you. Before we wrap up today's episode, I want to take a moment for something that's really important to me, and that's gratitude. It's something I try to practice every day through a gratitude journal. I actually brought it with me, and I encourage you to find a practice that works for you. I'd like to start by recognizing the incredible staff at Turn. Your compassion, dedication make a difference every single day. I'm also grateful for our drug court programs, North, South, and East County Centers for Change, which continue to support people on their path to recovery. And I have gratitude for our partnership with the County of San Diego. Their investment plays a critical role in turning lives around and expanding access to care. When those programs and partnerships come together, they create real opportunities for people to rebuild their lives and move forward in meaningful ways. And Jennifer, thank you for reminding us what that impact truly looks like. To our listeners, thank you for spending time with us today. Please like, share, and subscribe. As I close, allow me to share again what drives all of us here at Turn. There's nothing more important than improving lives. And together, we are improving lives. I'm Jim Callahan. This has been the Behavioral Health Brief. See you all next time. This has been the Behavioral Health Brief, where insight meets impact.